Saving the world is serious business. I have to be calm, cool and collected at all times. I can't let meaningless distractions cause a disruption in my focus, which is why I challenged Junpei to a battle of video games.
Yeah, take that! Die, 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 die!
I may have lost. I then spend the night practicing so I can one day get my revenge. I then hit the books. Education is very important and should not be neglected. But I couldn't help but feel I was forgetting something. Oh, yes, of course, saving the world. How could I lose track of that? I got a fancy new Arcana card for kicking the last boss's ass. Now my all-out attacks will do even more damage. It was time to take over Tartarus once again. These shadows won't know what hit them. Now that those pesky stairs had opened up, this was good. I tried hitting this thing in the hopes I would get something. I did not. I then run into my first opponent of the new area. They were weak to wind. At first, I thought it would be a good idea to deal with them myself. But then I decided Yukari's SP was less valuable than my own. So I let her do it. Next thing I know, I'm doing the good old classic trick of spamming elements until I hit a weakness. Of course, it takes me 4 goes to do it. I tried desperately to get a crit on a golden hand in the hopes of getting much deserved XP. I of course fail miserably. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's thinking I know it all when I actually know fuck all. Take this enemy for example. I was convinced he was weak to electricity. I would have bet money on it. I was wrong. He was weak to wind. I do apologize. I shouldn't assume this table's gender. That was very inconsiderate of me. Another example of me knowing nothing. I was convinced this bird was weak to ice. Pixie fortunately carried me and shocked him, which allowed Yukari to get the crit. I challenged 3 shadows thinking this would be an easy victory. I was wrong. I was very fucking wrong. And my stupidity meant I was all the way back at the start. I was absolutely furious. So when I got back there, I sent Junpei and his fire affinities after those despicable ice users. And my vengeance paid off, as I got a major Arcana card. I have no idea what that does. It seems useless, if I'm being honest. I had found the first gatekeeper. I was prepared for an intense duel. One of the birds had electricity, which was not good for Yukari's health. But another one was weak to wind, which was good for my mental health. The big bird was weak to ice, so I took him. Getting a weakness for that third bird proved to be a challenge, and Yukari died as well, which was inconvenient. But I found out the third weakness was Pierce. Too bad it was near the end when Junpei was shocked and I had fuck all health, so I lost that battle. But with all 3 weaknesses discovered, the rematch went a lot smoother. To be honest, it was almost unfair, in a way. The poor things never stood a chance. I was eliminating them with ease. Sure, Big Bird here took a bit of time to chisel down, but he was no match for me. I eventually get a level 3 card, which I thought would be amazing, but it was only stagnant air, which was a massive letdown. And finally, I noticed that these walls have faces on them. I only noticed like 8 floors in. I challenge a very strong shadow and immediately use the wrong element for the job, but I figure it out in the end, which knocks him down. Hulk Hogan raises the critical rate of everybody, so I guard because I was convinced he would have killed me otherwise. The fight was long, but even Hulkamania is no match for Pixie. Everyone's SP was running low. Well, except Junpei, but that's because he's being carried. I take some suspicious looking drugs. Oh, the memories. Those were the days. I then spend the night studying. Junpei shares his true self to the world.
Beef! Beef! Beef!
Good on him. And I cheated my exams by using Google. After I'm done exploiting the system, I return to Tartarus, where I finally have a fourth member, whose persona uses electric moves. Not ideal, considering I use electric moves, but more SP is always welcome. He can be a good SP slave. He immediately shows his worth as I take the Hulkster down. Yet again, with 2 electric users, it was easy. Never stood a chance, so he didn't. I'm taking that WWE belt off. I once again failed to defeat the Golden Hand. Best thing Persona 5 ever did was get rid of them. I run into the next boss. As soon as I see the side chicks playing with fire, I knew they were weak to ice, so I immediately knocked them down. I was wrong about the middle one being weak to wind though, but he was weak to electric. I had figured out all their weaknesses now. The all-out attack eliminated the first 2, and Pixie knocked the last one down for another all-out attack. Then Yukari got the crit. Absolutely beautiful. I love it when a plan comes together. And just because I'm arrogant, I finished him with Pixie. Immediately afterwards, I had another one to fight. This one proved to be a bit more challenging. The two weaker enemies were easy, but the cube here proved to be a challenge. But I eventually got the crit I needed, and Junpei finished it then with another crit. I got ambushed by the most annoying group of shadows I've ever come across. Like seriously. First, they block, then they dodge, then they heal. Could they get any worse? Once again, we had made it to our limit, except Junpei, so I decided to leave for the night, but not before admiring how powerful my persona had become. I immediately got straight back into business. No rest for the wicked, where I challenged Hell Incarnate. This thing was fucking bullshit. I started off strong, freezing my opponent, then getting a critical. At this point, I was fairly confident this would be a walk in the park. But then the mad lad identified all our weaknesses, and then he did some damage. And I mean damage. Killing Yukari instantly. I resisted his element, and he still took half my health. I was not fighting to win. I was fighting to survive. But this demon showed no mercy. It even had the gall to lower our defense, which was ridiculous, because he was already one-shotting us. For fun. With my defense gone and its incredible attack, it quickly finished Junpei and took me with him. That was a total defeat. He completely bent me over and had his way with me. At this point, I realized I needed to lower that attack, otherwise we were getting nowhere. And it worked. He was killing us in 2 hits now. We were improving. Akihiko inflicted distress and Junpei got the critical. We were putting up a fight, but even after all this, we were being annihilated. I tried desperately to find a weakness, a glimmer of hope to latch on to, but none came. I inflicted shock on my opponent and even hit a critical. I was beginning to believe we could do it, so I brought the team back to life to go for the win. But he immediately cut my hope in half and killed Yukari again and put me out of my misery. The situation was getting dire. I was desperately trying to hit status effects, only to watch him tear us apart. My determination paid off in the end, and I managed to get that critical I was desperate for. But in the end, it meant nothing, as I met my maker once again. I'm not going to lie, I have never seen a mini-boss absolutely take me to the cleaners like this. If this is a sign of what is to come, I am going to be absolutely annihilated for this entire series. I tried upping my damage to kill him quickly, but he got me first. Finally, I understood. I knew I only had one shot at making this work. Yukari must guard. She must be kept alive so she could heal the team. And if he was dumb enough to attack her, all the better. I raised the team's stats as much as I could and attacked with all my might. And we got a crit. But even with my strategy working, he put up a fight. But Akihiko, the absolute legend that he was, landed another critical. I was beginning to hope once again, yet still the revives were being drained down the damn sink. Junpei added to my stress by missing him in a critical moment. He made up for it though by getting the final hit in. At last, our trial was over. We had scraped by. That was an absolute nightmare. I am breaking it for the actual boss if this thing is just a side chick. I was very fortunate though. I had the chance to prepare as I made it to the next checkpoint. So I began to train for the nightmare that would be this next boss. And I also increased Pixie's stats for the next boss that was sure to be a monster. I get stuck doing gardening duty. Yukari sees some bullies. If they get in my way, I will eliminate them. If they need to be saved, I will leave them to their fate. Me and my bro get into a fight and they're caught by the fuzz. Shit. I can't go through one of these games without getting cuffed, can I? Yukari lands a sick burn.
More like stupe, ace defective.
I'll ignore the fact it took her like 5 minutes to think of it before she said it. And again, I went back to training, only to get fire break as a reward, which is absolutely useless to me. Junpei tells a ghost story, which puts Yukari on the case by volunteering me to the case. I meet the weird kid again, who warns me of the upcoming battle. I was not looking forward to that. I even made a second save just in case I fucked up and had to go back a few days to level up some more. My investigation skills were put to the test, and I knew like one answer, so I googled the rest. But what matters here is, people are missing, and it's up to me to save the day. Time to get to work. Yukari gets a stupid idea. Junpei finally gets to speak some sense.
Cause stuff you can't see is way creepier.
Actually, I'm more worried about the things I can see, like bats and knives.
First smart thing he said since I started this playthrough. Proud of you, buddy. Yukari's stupid idea gets my boy in trouble, which begs the question, why don't I just whip out my evoker and annihilate them like the clairvoyant relic did to us? But nope, instead we are saved by Akihiko's buddy. What an insult. I should be teaching them a lesson myself, not being saved like some sort of damsel in distress. And then, to add insult to injury, I get reprimanded. What is this? You want a piece of this? I'll take 'em on. You and me, buddy, right now. You probably don't even have a persona. I'd annihilate you. And even if you did have a persona, I'd annihilate you anyway. You could have fucking Yoshitsune, and I would still wipe the floor with you. I'm the greatest persona user. I finally meet the bully myself, who admits to trapping Fuka inside the school. Well, that is messed up. Personally, I think we should throw her in Tartarus for an hour and see how she likes it. And it turns out the teacher was covering it up. Unbelievable. Kamoshida and this guy would get on. Bully number 1 tries to tell me about her missing friends. They can stay missing for all I care. Now the mission can begin. Operation Rescue Fuka. And Junpei is ready to blow some shit up. Now we're talking. Son of a bitch just left the door open. I thought we were finally gonna blow Tartarus to bits, like a sane person would. Me and Yukari play the worst game of hide and seek ever. Yukari shits herself, and I take the opportunity to shoot my shot, and fail miserably.
That's not funny, you know.
We find the keys needed to open up the gym, but personally, I'd rather go to the morgue. Sounds more interesting that there's a morgue in the school, so I tell her that's what the keys say. But Yukari sees through my deception, which is slightly annoying. We assign teams. Yukari here gets to play the role of the bodyguard, even though she doesn't want to. And the bully finally decides to have a conscience and go apologize to Fuka. Considering where she currently is, that is not the best idea. I get separated from the rescue team. That's okay, because I am the rescue team. The little kid can sit back and watch how it's done. It's time to show the world who the real boss is. I immediately begin tearing through the enemies before me. One by one, they all fall to my superior power. These lot had nothing on me. It feels good to finally not get bent over. I'm liking this feeling. After I'm done dominating the shadows, I reunited with my crew, who had heard a voice and completely ignored it, which I would like to point out was the voice of the person we came here to save. Talk about useless. Come on, lads. We need to do better than that. The girl we were saving appears to be a navigator. Well, let's get her out of here. They're usually useful. We take a look at the moon and realize all the big shadows appear on the full moon. Yes, I have their patterns now. One by one, they will all fall to me, the greatest persona user to ever live. But I would worry about that later. The other two were attacked by some very powerful shadows. See? Look at their power. They destroyed a bike. And the other two were down, I suppose. Let's see how they handle me and Pixie. God fucking damn it, why is she here? She apologized to Fuka. Yippee! Now all is forgiven. Now stay out of my way. Fuka awakens to her persona. Apparently, she has the ability to see Shadow's weaknesses. What a naive girl. I am every Shadow's weakness. Except that relic guy. Well, I made a fool of myself there. Fuka, please, save me. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I need you. Fuka indeed saved my bacon. And I was in luck. They were weak to two things my persona could do. With their weaknesses revealed, this fight actually became trivial. Really not worthy of a boss fight. It was more like a tutorial to use Fuka's abilities. Who would have thought the real challenge was actually getting to these two? The two shadows, realizing they were fucked, changed their affinities, one of which only had a weakness to ice, resisted physical, and blocked the rest. Luckily, I had taught Pixie an ice attack, because otherwise, we actually would have been fucked. We quickly got to work, taking these two down again. It doesn't take long to take these two out, as Junpei hits a crit, and I finish the first one off with an ice attack. And Akihiko finishes the second one with a couple of well-thrown punches. The bully kneels down in awe of Fuka, who takes a nap in the middle of enemy territory. Guys, this is not the place to be taking naps. Well, that was a jolly old good time. I think we're through the worst of it now though. I think we're gonna coast through the rest of this game without an issue. See you there.